Hello and welcome to another video, and big thanks to Surfshark for sponsoring this one. I'll talk more about them a little bit later on, but for now I'm going to show you how I went from this to this in less than 10 minutes. Now before we start, if at any point you derive some enjoyment from today's video, please do me a favour and press that like button. And if you are new to the channel and you are yet to do so, please subscribe. I've been sat on 1.9 million subscribers for about 500 years. It is absolutely killing me. So if you can get us to 2 million, that'll be massively appreciated. So the purpose of today's video is to demonstrate just how misleading social media can be, particularly Instagram, when it comes to making judgments on people's physiques. And to prove my point, I'm basically going to show you how much I can warp the way my physique looks in the space of a few minutes without really doing anything out of the ordinary. So what you're watching now is footage from earlier on today. I basically headed down to my gym with the sole intention of getting a before and an after photo. So here I'm setting up for the before photo. Now I turned the lights right down, didn't turn them off because it was too dark. I turned them right down so I didn't get any of that sick down lighting. I opened both sets of blinds to get like natural light. Now natural light can be an amazing thing, but only if you position it correctly. In this instance, I was getting myself set up to be completely front on to the main source of natural light, and in doing so, that basically completely washed out my physique. Now setting up for the front on before pic, the first thing to note is that I'm not contracting my abs, and that makes an absolutely enormous difference. Like I can't state that enough. Like if I really contract my abs versus stand there completely, I mean, I think to be fair, I'm actually kind of pushing my stomach out a tiny bit, but the act of properly engaging your abs makes an enormous difference. It looks like, you know, you go from looking like you've never trained abs in your life to looking like you train them 10 times a day. It's absolutely huge for me. Now, the second thing to point out is that, like I said, I have that big source of natural light coming in straight onto me, which all it does is completely washes out all the definition that would ordinarily be in my abs. And the last thing is that I'm arching my shoulders, kind of arching my back and leaning back just a little bit. If you contrast that with me kind of leaning my shoulders slightly towards the camera, what that does is it makes your shoulders look bigger and your waist look smaller relative to your shoulders. And there we have it, my before photo. Now I want to stress here, obviously I'm not saying I look absolutely terrible by any stretch. Obviously some people would think this is a decent physique, but as far as I'm concerned, if you look at my my other pictures, you look at me in kind of optimal setting, this is like, for me it's bad. Moving on, it's time to get the after shot. So what I'm basically going to do here is create the best environment I possibly can, get the perfect conditions to make my physique look absolutely nuts. So the first thing I'm doing is closing both blinds. Right? By closing both blinds, I eliminate the natural source of light, and crucially that gives me control over the light. So I've turned up the downlighters to the max. Basically the stronger the downlighters, the more kind of definition, the more shadows and lines you're going to get, which obviously on a physique is a great thing. Now I mean, like when it comes to your head, it makes you look about 400 years older. It brings out every single wrinkle and crease and line on you, but in terms of your physique, it's absolutely ideal. Now what I'm also doing here is turning the aircon up. I'm making the room like hotter. Quite simply, the warmer the room is, the more blood flow you're going to stimulate, the more kind of dilated your blood vessels are going to be, and the better the pump you can get. And on the topic of pump, that is my next port of call. I'm basically going to try and get like a short-term sick pump. So when it comes to front on shots, you're basically looking at your chest, your biceps, and your delts, right? Your shoulders, specifically your front delts and your side delts. So here, by doing a set of press-ups, I'm trying to get blood flow to my chest and to my front delts. Now in terms of getting a chest pump, doing like a flat dumbbell press or like a standing cable fly, probably more effective, but I couldn't be arsed, so press-ups is like an easy go-to. Plus I'm trying to make this kind of relatable and as simple as possible, and just showing you how effective a simple set of press-ups can be. Now moving on, I'm doing some light bicep curls. Now not the same for everyone, but when it comes to me, I have a pretty prominent bicep vein. Like the vascularity in my biceps is pretty good. By doing some arm curls, I bring that out. It makes me look way better. So for me, like I said, chest, front delts, and biceps are the focus if I'm trying to look sick for a picture. I mean, to be honest, even without doing anything, you can see the impact the downlighters have. Like it's ridiculous. Like having that many downlighters clustered up in that area just means it's almost impossible not to get a sick shot. So now I'm doing lateral raises. Now again, the weight is light. It's key if you're trying to get a pump to keep the weight light. The weight gets too heavy, your form's going to break down, and it's much harder to engage the muscles. Plus, like on a side note, if you completely kill yourself and do like mega heavy reps, the actual act of contracting a muscle for a picture is going to be harder. So yeah, lateral raises, obviously I'm hitting my side delts, and that kind of completes the set. I'm then going to go around and just repeat that again. I basically did it as like a mini circuit. Like it doesn't need to be a productive session. In fact, it's probably the complete opposite of that. It's just a case of stimulating blood flow, getting those blood vessels to dilate, and then just getting as much blood to the muscles as possible. Now just to exacerbate the impact of that, and if you are struggling to properly contract a muscle, you can throw in some pause reps. So doing these pause curls, for example, is a really, really good way just to feel that mind muscle connection, feel your bicep contracting and literally filling with blood. And again, all the while I'm keeping the weight light and just trying to feed that pump as much as I can. Saying feed that pump sounds friggin' weird, but you know what I mean. So yeah, you get the idea. Basically I repeated that circuit I think like 3 times. I just did it by feel. There's no like secret recipe. I just did it enough to the point where I got a pump. I could get a better pump if I probably did. I mean, if I did a proper chest workout, I'd have a better pump than I had here, but I was just trying to do it as quickly as I could, just kind of demonstrate how easy it can be. Now here I hold my hands, I'm gonna say, yeah, this is probably quite weird. Like I'm not experience of spraying water on myself. I'm not really a big fan of it, but I did a Gymshark shoot last month. They did it, they freaking covered me with water and I looked nuts. So this is kind of a thing I thought I would integrate just to make me look even sicker. And you can see straight away just the kind of I don't want to say the word moist, but the fact that I'm wet, that my physique is wet, just brings out even more of those lines and that definition. Now here, I'm setting up in exactly the same spots. I'm trying to keep it as consistent as I can. Like I said, the big change is that the blinds are down, the lights are much stronger. Now, straight away, I'm contracting my abs, all right? You can see the vascularity, the pump in my chest, my biceps, my delts, but like, that difference is ridiculous. And then here we have the after shot. I think it's pretty apparent how like drastic the change is. And again, I want to stress the fact that the gap between those two photos being taken was about 6 or 7 minutes. Like, it's pretty insane when you consider that. And I think it demonstrates my point perfectly. Oh, and on a side note, contracting your abs for like 30+ seconds for a photo is friggin' hard. Like, I don't have to train abs. I can just pose for photos and get a sick ab workout. Ah! Oh, God. Tensing your abs is so hard. That's ridiculous. Okay, so there we have it, the before picture and the after picture. And again, like, the difference is ridiculous. Like, it's my body, but even I am like, that guy is definitely on steroids. Like, I think that is how I think most of you guys probably like picture my physique looking like that. The truth is, a lot of the time it looks more like that. That is a more realistic reflection of how I look from day to day. I mean, I think it's probably more like a middle ground. Like, I don't stick my stomach out a lot of the time, but like, if you are looking for an accurate reflection of how my physique looks most of the time, that is more like it than that is. And that is what I want to stress to you. That is the whole point of this video, basically, just to let you know that what you see on social media, and like I said, Instagram in particular, can be so, in fact, a lot of the time is very, very misleading. Right? What you are seeing is the absolute best part of someone. You're seeing someone in their best light, looking as good as they can. People don't take pictures of themselves looking and post it on social media, or most people don't. They take pictures of themselves looking as good as they possibly can, and they post those pictures. When you see a picture of someone stood in the mirror taking a selfie, that person is probably taking about 400 photos. They've got the light right, they've got the pump right, they've got the angle right, all of these things, all of these kind of distortions. So don't use that as your barometer, because it doesn't exist, right? The physique you are aspiring to isn't actually a real thing. Like, if I ask someone, what is your body goal? What is your ultimate kind of dream physique? Most people will reel off like 3 or 4 kind of fitness influencers, probably people they've seen on Instagram. And like I said, the physique they're picturing, the thing that they're kind of aspiring to achieve, isn't actually real. Is that, I mean, it is real, but it's like, it is like the 0.1%. Is that person for a split second of their day looking as good as they possibly can. It is not how they walk around from day to day. So that's the first thing, right? It's just to realize that, because if you are setting yourself goals and standards and expectations that are unrealistic, you can never achieve. Obviously, eventually you're gonna not hit those, and it's gonna bum you out. And to be honest, even if that person's physique is realistic, even if it is a physique they do have like 24 hours a day from day to day, you still shouldn't be aspiring to achieve someone else's physique. The truth is, they have their own genetic limitations, and so do you. And trying to look like someone else, unless you're gonna get plastic surgery, isn't realistic. Like, everyone has different muscle insertions, different areas in their body where they deposit body fat, different levels of like muscular symmetry. So trying or aspiring to look like someone else is basically a waste of time, because in most cases it's not possible. Now, I'm not saying you can't get as big as someone or as strong as someone else, but in terms of trying to replicate someone else's physique, and this is so common, someone will say to me, my goal is to look exactly like this person. And the truth is, for most people, it's never gonna happen. So I've said it a million times before, and it sounds super cheesy. The best goal you can set is just to be a better version of yourself, okay? If you really want to use like a celebrity or whatever a fitness influencer physique to aspire to, like, if that helps you, that's fine, do that, but don't expect to look exactly the same, because it's not gonna happen. And again, just to reiterate, just to hammer home the point, when you see a person on social media looking like that, the truth is that person probably spends most of their time looking more like that. Okay, cool, I'm gonna stop talking now. I hope you enjoyed, guys. I hope you found that useful. If you did find it useful, you think someone else would find it useful, feel free to share it around. Please drop the video a like. If you are new to the channel, it goes without saying, please subscribe. Again, we're trying to hit that 2 million subscriber mark, so please, I sound like I'm friggin' begging now. I mean, I am begging, please make it happen. Before we go, I'm gonna quickly talk to you about the sponsor of today's video, Surfshark. So in case you are unaware, Surfshark is a VPN, and a VPN is basically a tool which protects your privacy when you are using the internet. So stuff like your pictures, your videos, your documents, basically all of your personal stuff on your computer that you wouldn't want some sneaky little rat getting their hands on. Now, as well as protecting your privacy, the coolest thing about Surfshark is that it allows you to change the location from which you are accessing the internet, which has loads of benefits. The main one being you get access to a whole plethora of extra content. Now, I've been using and working with Surfshark for like 6 months. Like, you would have seen me talk about them in previous videos, and like, honestly, it's sick. Like, I wouldn't say it if it wasn't, I wouldn't say it if I didn't use it. It is genuinely so useful. Like, Just that location thing in particular for me, I use it all the time and it's nuts. Like if I'm watching Netflix, all I have to do is change my location to somewhere like the US. I mean, I do generally choose the US, and it straight away gives me loads of extra programs and films and stuff that I wouldn't normally get access to. And as well as allowing you to change your location, Surfshark also protects your privacy when using public Wi-Fi. Now, for me, that's really, really important, right? I'm always traveling around, and when I travel, I tend to use the Wi-Fi in like cafes or restaurants or bars or whatever, so it's nice to know that some weirdo isn't getting access to my stuff when I'm using that public Wi-Fi. Now, if you still need some more convincing, Surfshark is the only VPN that allows you to use your one account across unlimited devices, plus they have a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you want to give it a go, there is literally no risk. So there is a link to Surfshark in the description. Use that link, use the code MATT, and you will save yourself 84%, which is a weirdly specific amount, and you will get 4 months extra for free. You are welcome. See you later.